The return of the I Am flame. Introduction. There are teachings that do not belong to any age. They are not born, and they do not die. They wait in the silence of humanity's forgetfulness until hearts once again remember their origin. One such teaching reappeared in the early years of the 20th century, when a man named Guy Warren Ballard, walking through the quiet majesty of Mount Shasta, encountered a radiant being, an immortal presence, who called himself Saint Germain. What followed was not merely a conversation, but a transmission, a series of revelations that would awaken thousands to the most sacred truth ever spoken, that the name of God, I Am, lives within the heart of every human being. Through Ballard, under the pen name Godfrey Ray King, Saint Germain dictated the I Am discourses, texts that were not written to be studied, but to be experienced as vibration. They carried the same current once spoken on Sinai, I am that I am, the eternal decree of consciousness declaring its own existence. These were not words to describe God as something distant, but as presence itself, living, breathing, creating through you. Saint Germain called this the mighty I Am presence, the individualized spark of the infinite, that governs your heartbeat, your breath, your destiny. To speak the words I am consciously, he taught, is to touch the throne of creation. It is the key that opens every gate of limitation, for whatever follows, I am, becomes a command to the universe. When you say, I am weak, you decree weakness. When you say, I am whole, you call forth wholeness. You are the sculptor and the sculpture, the speaker and the word, the cause and the effect. The discourses were given as living energy to purify thought, sanctify feeling, and awaken divine memory. They revealed the secret that all masters knew, that the infinite does not reward faith. It responds to alignment, and alignment is achieved when thought, word, and emotion move in harmony with the rhythm of divine law. Saint Germain was not teaching religion. He was restoring knowledge once known in the temples of Egypt, in the sanctuaries of Atlantis, and in the quiet hearts of those who remembered their divine origin. He called humanity back to its rightful estate. Mastery over energy, form, and vibration. He spoke of the violet consuming flame, a sacred fire that dissolves discord and transmutes imperfection into light. He revealed that every thought is a vessel of power, every feeling is a magnetic field, and that mankind's suffering comes not from evil, but from the misuse of divine energy. In his words, to ascend does not mean to flee this world, but to transform it, to rise in consciousness until matter itself becomes obedient to love. He spoke as one who had mastered the art of immortality, not to impress, but to remind. You are not here to be tested. You are here to remember who you are. Nearly a century has passed since those words were first spoken, and yet they feel more relevant now than ever. In a world drowning in noise and distraction, the voice of the I Am returns, not as doctrine, but as an inner awakening stirring beneath the surface of every soul. For each of us stands once more where humanity has stood before, at the threshold between limitation and remembrance. The I Am is not a concept to believe, but a presence to realize. It is not something you invoke, it is what you already are. You are not a fragment of the divine. You are the divine expressing itself as you. When you speak with awareness, the universe bends to the tone of your voice. When you feel with purity, creation obeys the rhythm of your heart. And when you know without doubt that the presence within you is the presence of God, then the separation between heaven and earth dissolves, and only light remains. This audiobook is not a study of Saint Germain's words, it is an activation of them. Each chapter is a journey into one facet of divine mastery, attention, feeling, speech, purity, dominion, and light. Together, they form the path from identification to illumination. You will not merely hear these truths, you will remember them, because they were written in your soul long before they were written in any book. So listen with your heart. Speak the words within yourself as you hear them. Let the rhythm of each phrase awaken the spark that never dies. For this is not simply the story of Saint Germain. It is the story of your own return, You are the I Am presence, the eternal flame rediscovering itself in human form, and as you listen, the light that once spoke through the masters will begin to speak again, through you. Chapter 1 Farms, Divine Identity, Awakening to the I Am presence. In the beginning of every soul's awakening, there comes a moment of remembrance, a subtle but unmistakable stirring from within, as if eternity itself is calling your name. You begin to sense that your life is not a random sequence of days and choices, but a deliberate unfolding of something infinite, something sacred, seeking expression through you. That presence, invisible, constant, and alive, is what the Masters called the mighty I Am. You have spoken its name 1,000 times without knowing it. Each time you said, I am tired, I am afraid, I am lost, you invoked the name of the divine, and commanded it to clothe itself in your limitation. For the words I am are not mere pronouns, they are the original vibration, the creative decree of God moving through the breath of man. Saint Germain taught that the moment you speak those words with awareness, you are no longer a seeker, you are the source remembering itself. Through I Am, the infinite individualized itself into billions of forms, and through those same words, it reclaims its unity again. To awaken to this truth is to reclaim your inheritance as a creator. The power that hung the stars and carved the rivers dwells within your own consciousness, waiting only for recognition to be set free. For centuries, humanity searched for God in temples and mountains, in books, in rituals, in distant heavens. But the Masters whisper the same secret through all ages. The kingdom of heaven is within you. When you realize this, the sacred ceases to be somewhere out there. It becomes the pulse of your own being. You stop praying to reach something and begin listening to what has been speaking within you all along. The I Am presence is not a theory. It is a living current of intelligence, a self-luminous consciousness that thinks through your mind, breathes through your lungs, and dreams through your imagination. It is the one life, individualized as you, and yet it remains untouched by your mistakes, unmoved by your fears, unchanged by your illusions. It is eternally perfect, waiting for your attention to flow toward it, so it can express perfection through you. The first act of mastery is recognition. When you wake in the morning before the world reclaims your attention, say quietly within yourself, I am the presence governing this day. This simple affirmation realigns every current of energy in your life. It commands your mind to obey light instead of confusion, your emotions to obey peace instead of reaction. It is not superstition, it is energetic precision. Because the universe responds not to what you wish, but to what you declare as true. When you say, I am peace, you summon harmony from the invisible. When you say, I am abundance, you set into motion the current that draws provision. When you say, I am divine intelligence, the pathways of solution begin to open. For all creation is an echo. It repeats the tone of your consciousness. Saint Germain once said that man is a living sun, and that the radiance of the presence within you is far more real than the light of any star. But to experience it, you must turn inward, away from the noise of appearances, into the silence where the eternal abides. Sit quietly and imagine a flame, brilliant, steady, and violet gold, burning in the center of your heart. That flame is your doorway to the infinite. It does not flicker when you are afraid. It does not dim when the world forgets you. It is the part of you that never left heaven. Each time you acknowledge it, it expands. A living reminder that you are more than a body, more than a story, more than a name. You are consciousness itself, projected into form for the joy of experience. The entire spiritual journey can be summarized in one sentence. Return your attention to the presence that has never left you. Every prayer, every ritual, every search for truth is simply the soul trying to remember what it already is. You do not need to climb mountains to find God. You need only to become still and speak His name as your own. I am that I am. The moment you declare it with conviction, the veil begins to thin. The air feels different. Your heartbeat slows. Your thoughts lose their noise, and something vast yet intimate begins to move through you. You realize that divinity is not something to reach. It is what you have always been. From this recognition, a new way of living emerges. You begin to walk differently, not hurried but certain. You speak differently, not to impress but to bless. You think differently, not from fear but from knowing. You realize that you are not a drop in the ocean, but the ocean expresses itself as a drop. Every time you say I am, you are shaping the substance of the universe. Every thought is a mold, every feeling the fire that gives it form, and every word spoken from awareness becomes law in your world. So let this be your beginning. Before you act, remember the source. Before you speak, remember the flame. Before you doubt, remember who says, I am. For the presence within you is the same that moved through Saint Germain, the same that spoke through Christ, the same that breathes through every awakened soul. It has no name but one. And when you speak it consciously, you awaken the power that governs worlds. You are the I am in form, the infinite made visible. And your recognition of that truth is the first step toward freedom. Chapter 2. The Power of Focus, Directing the Stream of Energy. Every life is a river, flowing, shaping, carving its way through experience. Some drift aimlessly, carried by currents they never chose. Others discover the secret, that the river of energy moves where the mind directs it. This is the second revelation of divine mastery. Attention is creation in motion. Whatever you consistently think about, you breathe life into. The universe does not respond to wishful thinking. It responds to focused consciousness. Saint Germain called it the law of attention, and it governs everything you experience, from the smallest thought to the largest destiny. When you fix your attention upon light, your life becomes luminous. When you dwell on fear, the same infinite energy shapes itself into shadows. Energy is not moral. It is obedient. It follows direction without judgment, and your attention is the command. Look around you. Everything you call your world is a reflection of what you have been steadily focusing upon. Your relationships, your health, your opportunities. Each one is a crystallization of thought, given form by the magnetic power of sustained attention. And yet most minds wander in chaos, pulled by memory, scattered by emotion, drained by the noise of the world. A distracted mind leaks power. It becomes a broken vessel, through which the light of the presence escapes unnoticed. To reclaim your creative authority, you must reclaim your focus. When you center your mind upon the divine presence within, you align yourself with a limitless stream of intelligent energy. This current is always flowing, but few ever direct it consciously. They allow the outer world to decide what they think about, and so they live at the mercy of appearances. But the master learns to reverse the flow. He no longer takes instruction from circumstances. He gives instruction to them. He does not react to what he sees. He calls forth what he chooses to see. That is the secret of dominion. Focus creates form. You might ask, how do I train my attention? Begin with stillness. Each morning, before the noise of the world begins, sit in silence and bring your awareness to your heart. Imagine light expanding there, a sun within, radiant and calm. Then speak softly within yourself. I am the presence, focusing my attention on divine perfection now. Do this not as repetition, but as a command. The universe is voice-activated. Every decree you speak with conviction becomes law in the subtle planes of energy. Practice this throughout your day. When thoughts begin to scatter, pause. Withdraw your attention from the outer storm and silently say, I am centered in the presence. You will feel the current shift. The chaos quiets. The world slows its spin. Attention is not merely mental, it is spiritual devotion. To focus is to love. When you give your attention to something, you feed it with the life of your soul. So guard that gift as sacred. Ask yourself often, what am I energizing with my focus? If you dwell on lack, you multiply it. If you meditate on harmony, you attract it. Wherever your attention lives, your life will soon follow. You cannot serve two masters, the presence within and the noise without. Choose daily which one will rule you. Modern science calls it neuroplasticity. Mystics call it the discipline of light. Both describe the same phenomenon. Your focus rewires the architecture of reality. Neurons fire where attention flows. Atoms align where consciousness rests. You are literally sculpting existence by what you choose to hold in awareness. Saint Germain said, "Energy obeys attention." And so, when you focus on divine qualities, peace, gratitude, love, intelligence, that energy amplifies, multiplying itself through every aspect of your being. Do not be discouraged when the mind wanders. Every return to presence strengthens the connection. Distraction is not failure. It is simply the signal to come home again. And each time you return, you bring more light with you. Over time, the habit of divine attention becomes effortless. You no longer fight to stay centered. You live there. The presence becomes your natural gravity, and everything else begins to orbit around it. Then the outer world, once chaotic, becomes organized in mysterious harmony. Opportunities appear. Confusion dissolves. People begin to mirror your peace. You have not changed the world. You have aligned its current with your focus. This is the power of focus. Not strain, not willpower, but the silent authority of attention is anchored in love. When your attention becomes steady, energy becomes obedient, and life becomes luminous. You cease to live as a victim of conditions, and begin to live as a creator of reality. For you are not the mind that wanders. You are the presence that observes it. The eternal stillness directs the river of energy with perfect precision. Wherever you focus, you plant the seeds of your future. So fix your gaze upon the light, and let the universe rearrange itself around your clarity. Chapter 3. The Word that Creates Worlds. In the beginning, and not of time but of awareness, the Infinite spoke a single command, I am. And from that vibration, the cosmos unfolded. Galaxies, stars, and souls were born from one sound. A sound that never stopped echoing through existence. Every word since that moment has been a reflection of that first decree. For creation is not built of matter. It is built of meaning. And meaning takes form through speech. Saint Germain revealed this truth with crystalline simplicity. Your words are not descriptions of reality. They are instructions to it. Every statement beginning with I am is a command to the universe, and the universe obeys with perfect precision. When you say I am tired, you summon fatigue. When you say I am strong, strength begins to arrange itself around you. When you say I am guided, the path lights beneath your feet. The spoken word is not metaphor, it is energy clothed in sound. It carries the creative current of the I am presence into the substance of your world. Every syllable you release is an act of creation. The tone of your voice, the emotion beneath your speech, the certainty of your declaration, all are frequencies shaping invisible matter. Words are living seeds, and feeling is the soil that gives them root. Together, they determine what flowers in the garden of your experience. This is why the masters spoke rarely, and when they did, their words never failed. They had purified speech until only truth could move through it. Their decrees were not prayers of pleading, they were pronouncements of law. You are called to do the same. Observe your speech today. Listen as you speak to yourself, to others, to life. Each word is a declaration of identity, a vibration that calls forth its likeness from the unseen. When you complain, you rehearse limitation. When you gossip, you reinforce separation. When you bless, you multiply grace. Speech is sacred alchemy, the transmutation of thought into form through vibration. The universe does not differentiate between jokes and conviction. It listens only to energy. The frequency of your words, not their grammar, is what the cosmos echoes back to you. Saint Germain taught, when you speak, know that the words you utter are vehicles of the I am presence in action. This means every phrase carries creative authority. Every time you speak of yourself or another, you are invoking divine energy into motion. What you affirm becomes law within your field of influence. To misuse speech is to scatter divine power. To use it consciously is to wield the staff of creation itself. So let your speech become deliberate, not cold or rehearsed, but luminous. Speak with intention. Let every word uplift, clarify, heal, and empower. When your speech aligns with love, your world aligns with order. This is why silence is the foundation of mastery. Through silence, you learn the weight of words. Through restraint, you build the voltage of your decree. Then, when you finally speak, the universe recognizes your tone as law. The creative word is not only sound, it is consciousness given direction. Before speaking, pause and align your heart. Feel the vibration of the presence within your heart. Then, let your words flow from that stillness. Say not, I hope, but I am. Say not, I wish to be healed, but I am whole. Say not, I seek peace, but I am peace embodied. To speak as the presence is to command as the presence, and to command as the presence is to create in its likeness. Every master of light has known this law. Through it mountains were moved, storms calmed, and the blind made to see. Not through magic, but through understanding the power of word. Each miracle was simply the response of energy to the authority of divine speech. And so it is today. Your words, spoken in faith, shape light into circumstance. They write new codes in the substance of reality. Say often within yourself, my words are guided by the presence. My speech is the voice of the I Am in action. Then listen, not with ears, but with awareness, and you will feel how each word vibrates differently, when it carries love instead of habit, truth instead of fear, divine intention instead of noise. There is no greater magic than this. The word that created worlds still waits upon your tongue. Each phrase is a doorway. Each declaration is an universe being born. When you speak consciously, you restore harmony to creation. You become the voice of the infinite, God expressing itself through human sound. So guard your speech as holy fire. Let it heal where others wound. Let it bless where others curse. Let it proclaim light where others see shadow. For the power that once said, "Let there be light," has never ceased speaking. It now speaks through you. Chapter 4. The Flame That Purifies, the Violet Fire Within. Every soul carries within it a hidden fire, a flame so ancient and luminous that even the shadows of the world cannot extinguish it. It is the divine alchemy of transformation, the invisible current that turns pain into wisdom, fear into strength, and the ordinary into the sacred. Saint Germain called it the violet consuming flame, the living essence of purification and mercy, the fire of divine love in action. To understand this flame is to understand the nature of energy itself. Every thought, every emotion, every word ever spoken creates a vibration that leaves a trace in the fabric of your being. Some vibrations are light, gratitude, compassion, faith, and these flow freely through your field, harmonizing all they touch. Others are heavy, resentment, guilt, judgment, and these solidify, forming clouds within the subtle body, dense pockets of energy that distort perception and slow the rhythm of divine expression. The violet flame is the transmuting power that restores balance. It does not fight darkness, it transforms it. It takes the discordant frequencies of human experience and raises them into harmony with the divine blueprint. When you invoke this flame, you do not beg for forgiveness, you command transformation. You stand as the presence and decree, through the power of the violet flame, all imperfect energy within and around me is now purified and set free. The world has mistaken fire for destruction, but divine fire is creation itself, renewing its own form. It is not punishment, it is restoration. It consumes nothing but illusion. The false images we build from fear and separation. Every soul that awakens must pass through this sacred fire, not as torment, but as liberation. The lower self cannot enter the higher realm unrefined. The metals of human thought must be melted and reshaped until only gold remains, the gold of divine consciousness. This is not a metaphor, it is a metaphysical law. Energy cannot be destroyed, only transformed. And the violet flame is the instrument of that transformation. When you feel burdened by memories, haunted by your own words or the weight of the past, call upon this flame. Close your eyes. Visualize a sphere of violet light descending from above, surrounding your entire being in its luminous fire. See it swirling, gentle, rhythmic, intelligent, as if it knows precisely where to go. It moves through the mind, softly erasing images of failure and regret. It moves through the heart, dissolving grief and guilt until only compassion remains. It moves through the body, releasing tension held in cells, transmuting pain into radiant peace. As it moves, it whispers silently, "Only love is real. All else returns to the light." Saint Germain said that invoking this flame daily, it's like clearing the dust from a mirror, so that the divine presence may shine unobstructed through you. Without it, energy stagnates. Old thoughts replay, old emotions repeat, and the same lessons return until they are finally understood. But when the violet fire is called forth, it accelerates growth by mercy. It releases karma not through suffering, but through illumination. It is the divine short path, the fast lane of spiritual evolution, and yet it demands sincerity. You cannot invoke it mechanically, you must feel it. The heart must ignite before the flame can answer. Say softly within yourself, "Beloved, I am presence, blaze the violet. Consuming flame through me now. Transmute every discord, every shadow, every limitation into the purity of divine love." Then be still. Feel it moving, not imagination, invocation. You are calling forth the actual substance of God. Each time you use the flame, you reclaim fragments of yourself once lost to pain. Pieces of energy once frozen in resentment begin to thaw, to move, to shine again. The past ceases to imprison you, for it has been rewritten in light. This is not denial, it is redemption. To forgive is not to forget. It is to restore energy to its original rhythm of love. The flame does this automatically. It knows the pattern of divine harmony and realigns all energy to that pattern with infinite intelligence and compassion. Even the harshest memories can be healed in this light. Even the deepest wounds can be rewritten in radiance. The flame does not erase experience. It liberates it from distortion. It allows wisdom to remain but removes the suffering attached to it. The violet fire is the mercy of God made visible. It is the bridge between human imperfection and divine perfection. When you use it, you act as a co-creator with the infinite. You take responsibility for your energy, and in doing so, you become free. This flame is not outside you. It is your own higher nature, the eternal presence of love, that has never been touched by shadow. You are not calling it from the sky, you are awakening it from within. It dwells in the center of your heart as a living sun, a sacred fire that never dies. The more you acknowledge it, the more it expands. The more it expands, the more your outer life transforms. Your words become gentler, your thoughts become clear, your emotions become steady, and gradually the world around you begins to mirror your inner light. This is how the masters purified their worlds, not by escaping darkness but by transforming it into light. So when the shadows of the world seem heavy, do not curse the darkness. Light the flame. When guilt whispers, "You are unworthy," say, "I am the violet fire, blazing purity through me now." When turmoil tempts your heart, breathe once and feel the fire transmute the surge into compassion. You are not helpless in the face of energy. You are its governor. You are the presence commanding the flame of love, to restore balance wherever it is lost. Each invocation is a victory for the light. Each act of forgiveness is another world set free. For this, flame is not limited to you. Its radiation spreads through the collective field, purifying thoughts, environments, and nations. And so, beloved soul, let the violet fire become your constant companion. Use it when you wake, when you rest, when you feel heavy or uncertain. It is not imagination. It is your divine inheritance. Through its mercy, you will rediscover the radiance that was never lost. You will walk lighter, speak kinder, and shine brighter. For the flame that purifies is the flame that remembers. It does not destroy what you are, it reveals what you have always been, a being of living light. Chapter 5: The Science of Feeling the Magnetic Heart. There is a power greater than thought, a current that moves creation itself. It cannot be reasoned with or controlled by logic, for it belongs to the deepest part of your being. It is the pulse of the infinite moving through the soul, the science of feeling. Saint Germain called it the magnetic law of emotion, the power through which divine ideas become living forms. For thought alone is the blueprint, but feeling is the electricity that brings the design to life. You think with the mind, but you create with the heart. Every feeling radiates an electromagnetic wave. It extends beyond your body, shaping the invisible field around you. Each pulse of joy, gratitude, or love expands that field, while every vibration of fear or resentment contracts it. The heart, scientists now know, emits a magnetic signal, many times stronger than the brain. But the masters knew this long ago. They taught that the heart is not only an organ, it is a temple, a transmitter of divine energy. Every emotion is a prayer, and every prayer is answered through resonance. Whatever feeling dominates your inner atmosphere will magnetize experiences that echo it. For life is a mirror, reflecting the vibration you continually radiate. To master feeling is to master creation itself. You cannot speak words of light while holding emotions of shadow and expect harmony to appear. You may say, "I am peace," but if your heart trembles with fear, the universe hears the vibration, not the phrase. This is why Saint Germain taught that the feeling world is the God world. Thought directs energy, but feeling qualifies it, gives it tone, shape, and momentum. Together, they form the two poles of manifestation, the mental blueprint and the emotional magnet. When they are united, manifestation becomes instantaneous. Every master learned to govern emotion, not by suppression, but by transmutation. They did not deny human feeling, they refined it. They lifted the lower notes of emotion into higher octaves of love. Fire became will, fear became vigilance, desire became devotion. Every feeling, once purified, became a tool of divine expression. You are called to do the same. When sadness arises, do not condemn it. Breathe into it and say softly, "I am the presence transforming this feeling into light." When resentment stirs, do not fight it. Raise it into compassion. Say within yourself, "Only love has power here." By this gentle discipline, you begin to train your emotional field, to resonate only with the higher harmonies of life. Emotion is not weakness, it is fuel. It was never meant to be repressed, only redirected. The universe responds not to cold intellect, but to feel conviction. When your thoughts and feelings unite in harmony, miracles appear effortlessly. The masters called this coherence, the alignment of mind and heart with divine order. In that state, the human self ceases to struggle. You do not make things happen, you allow them to flow. The world begins to rearrange itself, to reflect your vibration. Every relationship, every opportunity, every circumstance becomes drawn to you, not by accident, but by magnetic correspondence. The law is precise, like attracts like, but the likeness is not in form, it is in frequency. You attract what you feel, not what you say you want, so cultivate the feelings you wish to experience before they appear in form. If you seek abundance, practice the feeling of plenty until it becomes your natural state. If you seek love, radiate warmth and forgiveness until it overflows from you. If you seek peace, sit in stillness until the silence becomes alive. This is not imagination, it is energetic law. Feeling is causation in the invisible realm. When you dwell in a vibration long enough, it condenses into matter, just as vapor condenses into rain. The secret is consistency. One spark of gratitude may lift the heart, but a constant atmosphere of gratitude transforms the entire landscape of life. The heart is a magnet of divine intelligence. When it beats in rhythm with love, it becomes a compass that never errs. You may not always see where the path leads, but you will feel when it is right. Peace is the signature of alignment. Tension is the signal of resistance. Follow peace as your inner navigation. It will never lead you astray. Saint Germain said, "The feelings of love, joy, and gratitude are the open door through which divine energy flows without obstruction. These feelings expand your field until your very presence becomes radiant. Others will sense peace near you without knowing why. They will feel lighter in your company. Your vibration silently instructs theirs to rise. This is the unseen ministry of an awakened heart. But to live in this coherence, you must release the habit of emotional reaction. The world will continue to present you with contrasts, but you are no longer a reed blown by every wind. You become the still center of the storm, feeling deeply but never losing balance. When conflict arises, pause before responding. Let stillness wash through you. Do not suppress what you feel, simply let the violet flame refine it. Then speak only when love has returned. In that moment, your words carry power because they emerge from clarity, not reaction. This is emotional mastery. Not numbness, but luminosity. It is the difference between a candle flickering in the wind and a sun shining in all directions. There will come a day when you no longer chase good feelings or flee bad ones. You will see all emotions as sacred energy, seeking to be understood and elevated. Then, nothing will have power over you. You will no longer feel your way through life. Life will feel its way through you. Your heart will become an instrument of divine rhythm. You will move through the world, not as one trying to attract love, but as one radiating it naturally. Your vibration will go before you, like a fragrance that lingers in every room you enter. This is the true magnetism of spirit. Effortless, wordless, unstoppable. So remember, thought builds the image, but feeling gives it life. To think is to sketch. To feel is to animate. Let every feeling be sacred. Let it pass through your heart, purified by the fire of love. And as you master emotion, you master creation, for the presence within you does not respond to the words you speak, but to the vibration you sustain. Hold that vibration in joy, and the universe will mirror it back 1,000-fold. Chapter 6. Mastery of the Outer World. The Power of Detachment. There is a moment in every seeker's path when the world begins to lose its power to disturb. Not because the world has changed, but because you have. This is the quiet sign of mastery. When the tides of circumstance rise and fall, yet the soul remains unmoved, resting in the still center of being. Saint Germain called this the mastery of the outer world, the art of detachment, not withdrawal, not indifference, but a radiant calm that comes from knowing that the outer world is only the echo of the inner. The unawakened live as prisoners of appearances. They believe what they see, they fear what they feel, and they chase what they think will complete them. But the one who has learned to see beyond appearances knows that the outer is merely a reflection of the inner light, a mirror, not a master. To master the mirror, you do not strike at the image, you change the face that gazes into it. And so the true initiate begins to work not on the world, but on consciousness. You cannot control the sea, but you can command your vessel. You cannot calm the winds, but you can adjust your sails. This is detachment. The knowledge that life moves according to your vibration, not your struggle. The outer world is not your enemy. It is your servant. It reflects your dominant state of consciousness with flawless accuracy. When fear reigns within, confusion appears without. When peace governs within, order arises around you. To believe otherwise is to live as a victim of one's own creation. Saint Germain taught that energy obeys the consciousness directing it, always without exception. If you wish the outer world to change, cease wrestling with its shadows, and adjust the source of projection, your inner state. This is why the masters never fought the world. They ruled it through stillness. Their detachment was not coldness, it was divine composure. In the presence of a master, storms ceased, animals became gentle, and chaos turned to harmony. The universe recognizes the vibration of one who commands from peace. Consider this. Everything that agitates you, is showing you where you are still identified with illusion. Each disturbance is not punishment, but an invitation. A mirror revealing the point where your peace still depends on the world. When someone criticizes you and you feel wounded, it is not their words that hurt you. It is the false identity within that believes it must defend itself. When you lose something you love and feel incomplete, it is not loss that pains you. It is an attachment, mistaking possession for wholeness. True detachment is not the absence of love. It is the presence of wisdom. It is to love fully while knowing that nothing can truly be owned, for all things are expressions of the same one life. To master the outer world, you must cease trying to control it. Control is the child of fear. Mastery is the offspring of understanding. The master acts but never reacts. He moves with purpose but not with anxiety. He speaks when guided and remains silent when silence is more powerful than words. His detachment gives him vision, a clarity impossible for those entangled in desire and fear. When you act from attachment, you move in confusion, chasing reflections, never reality. But when you act from stillness, the universe aligns with your intention because your vibration carries the authority of truth. Detachment is not the end of emotion. It is the refinement of it. It is the fire of passion purified of possession. The saint and the lover share the same heart, but the saint's love is universal. He loves not to receive, but to express the nature of God within him. When you understand this, you stop grasping at the world. You realize that nothing can be added to what you already are. You cease demanding from others what only the presence can provide. You no longer say, "I need," but rather, "I am fulfilled." And from that state, abundance naturally flows. Saint Germain once said, "Peace is the power at rest." When your peace becomes unshakable, your words gain creative authority. The outer world senses your equilibrium and arranges itself to match your vibration. The enlightened do not flee the world, they transfigure it. They walk among noise, but the noise cannot enter them. They act within form, but remain rooted in the formless. This is the great paradox of mastery, to be fully human, yet untouched by humanity's illusions. You can begin this practice today. Each time life presents a disturbance, pause. Do not rush to fix it. Do not condemn it. Simply witness it from the still point of awareness, and inwardly affirm, "I am the presence observing this. I remain in peace." You will feel the current shift. The outer loses its hold. The inner expands. Detachment does not make you distant. It makes you luminous. It allows love to flow freely, for love bound by fear is not love at all. The detached heart can embrace the whole world, because it no longer clings to any fragment of it. And here lies the secret. The moment you stop needing the world to fulfill you, the world begins to pour its blessings at your feet. The outer obeys the consciousness that is free from need. Freedom is magnetic. It draws all good things not by effort but by resonance. So remember this law. The world is not to be conquered. It is to be understood. When you cease fighting, it ceases resisting. When you stop fearing, it stops opposing. When you rest in your own presence, the world mirrors your serenity. This is mastery. To walk through storms with a calm heart, to hold light in the midst of darkness, to act with purpose, yet remain unattached to outcome. When nothing external holds the power to disturb your inner equilibrium, you have found the seat of divine authority. You no longer try to influence the world through force, for your very being has become influence itself. Be in the world, but not of it. Love deeply, but cling to nothing. Serve fully, but remain free. This is the balance of heaven and earth. This is the serenity that turns chaos into order. This is the power of detachment. For when the outer no longer commands your peace, you become the peace that commands the outer. Chapter 7. The Inner Temple, Dwelling in the Heart Flame. There is a sanctuary that no storm can touch, a place where time dissolves and the noise of the world cannot enter. It is not found in stone temples, nor in mountains, nor behind the veils of ancient rituals. It lies within you. in the secret chamber of the heart. Saint Germain called it the inner temple, the dwelling place of the sacred flame, the living presence of God within every human being. It is here that the soul communes with the infinite, not through words, but through stillness. It is the point where heaven and earth meet, where the I Am presence breathes through the human form. Every great master from every tradition discovered this same truth, that the universe has built a temple within the heart of every soul, and the altar at its center is a flame, small to the eyes of flesh, but infinite to the eyes of the spirit. It burns with violet gold fire, pure and unwavering, for it is the spark of the eternal. It was placed there before the world began, and it will remain long after the stars have gone out. To dwell in this temple is to awaken to your true identity. It is to discover that God was never distant, and that all your searching was only the long road home, home to the presence within. Close your eyes, bring your attention to your heart, feel the pulse, that steady rhythm of life. It is not merely a physical beat, it is the signature of the infinite. Each heartbeat is the universe affirming, I am here. Now, imagine a radiant flame rising from the center of your heart. It glows with violet, gold, and white light. Soft at first, then growing brighter with every breath. This flame is not imagination. It is the essence of your divine identity. It is the life within all life, the presence that animates galaxies and atoms alike. Breathe into it. See it expand with each inhale, filling your body with gentle light, filling your mind with calm awareness. You are entering your inner temple. You are crossing the threshold from human perception into divine remembrance. Here in this sacred chamber, you will find no doctrine, no dogma, only silence. A silence so alive it speaks without words. It is the language of the soul, the voice of God, whispering through the rhythm of being. Saint Germain said that in this stillness, you commune directly with your I Am presence. You need no mediator, no ritual, no authority, for the presence within is the highest authority there is. In this space, prayer becomes listening, meditation becomes remembering. You realize that you have never been separate, only distracted by the noise of thought. This is why the masters withdrew daily into silence, not to escape the world, but to anchor heaven into it. Each time they entered the heart flame, they renewed their connection to the source of power. From that connection flowed wisdom, healing, and the strength to govern the outer world with serenity. To dwell in the inner temple is to live from the center. It is to cease seeking strength outside, and to drink directly from the well of divine energy. It is to replace reaction with radiance and doubt with quiet knowing. Here, in the temple, the dualities of life dissolve. Good and evil, light and dark, success and failure, all merge into one awareness, the awareness of divine order. You begin to see that everything, even sorrow, serves the same purpose, to awaken the flame to fuller expression. When you dwell here often, you will feel a warmth in the heart. Not physical heat, but the vibration of love is expanding. It is the presence saying, I am alive in you. I am the calm within your breath, the light behind your eyes, the strength beneath your compassion. From this flame comes illumination. You begin to sense the thoughts of the divine, not as words, but as intuition, as quiet certainties that arise without reasoning. The answers you once searched for begin to unfold naturally. The right words come, the right timing reveals itself, the right doors open, not through effort, but through alignment. For in truth, life was never meant to be forced. It was meant to be expressed, and the one who lives from the heart flame expresses the infinite without resistance. Saint Germain said, the flame within your heart is the doorway to your ascension. Guard it, love it, expand it daily. Each time you return to this inner sanctuary, you strengthen the bridge between the human and the divine, and with time, you realize that the two were never apart. The bridge was always there. You had only forgotten how to cross it. To dwell in the inner temple is to walk the world as a vessel of peace. It is to speak words that heal, because they arise from silence. It is to move with grace, because you no longer strive to prove. The ego dissolves not through denial but through reverence. You no longer need to defend your existence, for you have seen that you are eternal. You begin to look at others differently. You see the same flame in every heart, sometimes hidden, sometimes bright, but always there. And when you meet the gaze of another, you bow inwardly, for you are greeting another temple of the Most High. This is how the new earth is built, not by systems or revolutions, but by souls remembering the flame within themselves and recognizing it in one another. If you were to live in this consciousness continually, practice entering the heart each day. Sit in stillness. Let the breath slow. Withdraw your attention from the outer world and descend into the chamber of light. Let gratitude fill you, for gratitude is the key that unlocks the gate. When you feel the flame respond, perhaps as warmth, peace, or simply awareness, speak within. I am the presence dwelling in the heart flame. I am the love that sustains all life. I am the peace that nothing can disturb. Hold this awareness gently, as if cradling a candle in your hands. Let it expand until it fills the room, the city, the earth, the stars. This is not imagination. It is participation in the divine. You are the living temple of the Most High. The altar is your heart. The priest is your consciousness. The offering is your love. And from that altar, light will radiate outward into the world, quietly, steadily, eternally, until every soul remembers the same flame within themselves. Chapter 8. The Victory of Light, the Ascension Consciousness. There comes a moment on every soul's path when the search ends, not because all questions have been answered, but because one finally awakens to the presence that never asked them. It is the moment of realization, when the seeker and the sought merge into one awareness. This is what Saint Germain called the victory of light, the dawning of Ascension consciousness. Ascension is not departure. It is not an escape from this world, nor the rejection of form or matter. It is the revelation that form itself is light, and that every particle of existence, it is already saturated with divinity. You have never been separated from the infinite. You have only been dreaming of distance. And now, through all the lessons, through recognition, focus, word, purification, feeling, mastery, and the heart, you awaken within the dream, to the truth that there is only one consciousness here, the I Am. In the language of spirit, ascension does not mean rising above the earth. It means rising above illusion. It means to live in the world, as one who knows that all appearances are but symbols for invisible realities. The body continues, the voice still speaks, the hands still serve, but the awareness behind them has changed. The actor no longer mistakes himself for the role. He plays, he creates, he loves, but he never forgets who he truly is. This is the consciousness of freedom. This is the mastery that walks among men but belongs to heaven. The victory of light is not an event. It is a state of vibration. It is achieved not through effort, but through surrender, through allowing the divine rhythm to move through you unopposed. When resistance dissolves, light flows unhindered through thought, emotion, and action. Your life becomes a transparent instrument for the will of the infinite. And what is that will? Not dominance, not conquest, but expansion through love. The divine seeks only to express itself more fully through creation. It does not demand perfection. It reveals it. As you awaken, you begin to live as that revelation. You no longer say, I seek the light. You say, I am the light. You no longer pray for miracles. You live as their source, for the presence that once seemed above you now moves as you. Saint Germain said, the ascension is the conscious union of the outer self with the I Am presence. This union is not achieved by reaching. It unfolds by remembering. Every act of faith, every invocation of the violet flame, every moment of peace in the midst of chaos, each has drawn the two realms closer, until the veil between human and divine grows thin, and one day, perhaps quietly, you realize that there is no veil at all. That which you called God was the truth of your own being all along. then the light no longer visits you in moments of prayer. It abides. It walks with you into the marketplace, into conversation, into creation, until your entire life becomes a temple without walls. You begin to see the world differently. The same faces, the same streets. But something has changed. Or rather, everything has revealed itself as light. The trees no longer merely stand, they radiate. The air shimmers with unseen energy. People you once feared, you now bless, for you see beyond their wounds into their eternal essence. Every being becomes a facet of the same jewel, the one life, refracting itself into 1,000 forms. This vision is not imagination, it is perception cleansed of distortion. The ascended consciousness does not leave the earth, it transfigures it. The outer becomes a mirror of the inner harmony. Heaven is no longer a destination, it is a recognition. Through this realization, fear loses its foundation. For what is there to fear? When is all light? Death becomes translation, not ending. Loss becomes transformation, not punishment. Time itself becomes transparent, and eternity begins to shine through the moments of every day. This is the victory of light. Not in the heavens, but in the heart. It is the triumph of remembrance over forgetfulness, of unity over division, of peace over struggle. You begin to understand what it means to live as an emissary of the infinite, a being whose presence transforms environments, simply by existing in coherence with the divine. When you enter a room, tension softens. When you speak, clarity follows. When you love, the unloved parts of others remember themselves as a whole. You have become a living current of grace. This is the goal of all evolution, not to escape humanity but to divinize it. The human is not to be rejected, but redeemed, not burned away, but illuminated from within. The ascension is not the disappearance of matter. It is the recognition that matter is spirit condensed, and that every cell vibrates with divine intelligence. You will know you have entered this consciousness when life becomes effortless, when gratitude arises uncaused, when peace is not something you practice, but something you are. You will still feel, still act, still dream. But behind it all is an unbroken silence, a witnessing presence that smiles through every experience. You will look at all that once seemed dark and whisper, "Even here the light is victorious." You are that light. You are that presence. You are the infinite unfolding as form. And when you live in remembrance of this truth, you lift the entire human family with you. For consciousness is one, and every soul that rises in light draws countless others upward. This is the true service of the awakened, to live so transparently that others feel their own divinity reflected back at them. You do not need to preach. Your vibration speaks more clearly than words. Wherever you go, the presence goes. Whatever you touch, life blesses. Whatever you release, light redeems. This is your ascension. Not future, but now. Not a destination, but a state of recognition. So, beloved soul, stand in the quiet knowing of who you are. You have journeyed through thought and word, through flame and feeling, through mastery and surrender, and have arrived at the center. The eternal presence of the I Am. You are the light that never fails. You are the flame that cannot die. You are the love through which God remembers himself in creation. And as you awaken to this truth, the victory of light is complete, not because darkness has been destroyed, but because you have seen that there was never anything but light. Epilogue, through faith to freedom, and now the journey draws to stillness, not to an ending, for spirit knows no end, but to a threshold where silence becomes the new beginning. You have walked through the laws of creation, through flame and focus, through purification and mastery, through the sanctuary of the heart, and now you stand in the brilliance of realization, the knowing that the light you sought was always within you. Saint Germain called this freedom. Not the freedom the world speaks of, but the liberation that comes when you remember who you are. Freedom begins in faith, not belief born of fear or ritual, but faith born of knowing. the steady recognition that the universe is not against you, that life itself is a divine order unfolding in perfect rhythm. Faith is the bridge between the invisible and the visible. It is the power that carries thought into form and carries the soul through every shadow without losing its light. To walk in faith is to live as if the presence were your only reality. It is to speak with assurance even when the world appears uncertain, to move with peace even when storms surround you, to give thanks before the harvest appears. This is not blindness, it is spiritual sight, the vision that sees what the outer eye cannot. All along, the teaching was not about attaining something new, but about remembering what has always been. Faith reveals that you were never powerless, that divine intelligence has been guiding every turn, even the ones you once called mistakes. You begin to see that every delay was protection, every loss was a correction, and every challenge was an invitation, an opportunity to claim your dominion through love. The presence within you is never absent. It waits patiently for your recognition. And each time you say, "I am," you open the door a little wider. Through that door flows all the power of the universe: peace, supply, healing, illumination. For all are but rays of the same source. You have learned the secret of divine adjustment, the art of aligning with divine intelligence, so perfectly that life itself becomes effortless harmony. Where once you struggled to fix the outer, now you rest in the inner knowing. That adjustment happens through recognition, not resistance. Every discord, when seen through faith, is simply a call to return to the center. Every obstacle is only the shadow cast by the light of an unclaimed truth. When you dwell in faith, the presence adjusts all things for your highest good, not as a reward, but as a reflection. The law is eternal. Your world mirrors your consciousness. Freedom is not the absence of difficulty. It is mastery within it. It is the ability to walk through fire and remain unburned, to stand in the noise and hear only silence. Freedom is the soul's calm certainty that nothing real can be threatened and nothing unreal exists. You begin to see that all fear was illusion, that no external power ever truly bound you. The only chains were made of thought. And thought, once illuminated by faith, dissolves like mist at sunrise. Then the world appears new, not because it changed, but because your eyes did. You see unity where you once saw separation, purpose where you once saw pain, light where you once saw limitation. This is the consciousness of freedom. It cannot be given to you. It must be realized within. The masters did not teach escape. They taught remembrance. They did not promise another world. They revealed the true nature of this one. And through that revelation, they invited humanity to rise, not in body, but in awareness. The Ascended One is not one who leaves the earth, but one who walks it as light. He lives among men, yet is governed by heaven. He acts in time, but belongs to eternity. He sees the divine presence in every circumstance, and through that sight, transforms the world. Faith leads to freedom because it removes the last illusion, the illusion of separation between the human and the divine. To have faith is to remember that there is only one presence here, and you are in expression. Say it softly now, as if the words are not leaving your lips but returning to your soul. I am the light that never fails. I am the flame that no shadow can touch. I am the presence through which all things are made right. Feel these words as living truth. Let them vibrate through every cell. Let them breathe through every heartbeat, for they are not affirmations. They are recognitions. They are the language of freedom itself. You are now what you have always been, a being of divine intelligence, clothed in form for a season but limitless in essence. You have remembered that heaven is not above, it is within. That love is not an emotion, it is the structure of the universe. That faith is not the absence of doubt. It is the decision to see with the eyes of God, and through that vision, you are free. Free from fear, free from struggle, free from the tyranny of appearances. You have returned to your rightful state. Calm, radiant, victorious, the flame within you now burns brighter than ever before, Carry it into the world. Let your presence heal without effort, teach without words, and shine without end. For the greatest teaching is not spoken, it is lived. And the one who lives in faith walks in freedom, and wherever such a soul walks, the light of God follows.